just a little bit of a turn of subject here, but I was just part of the Run and Gun filmmaking competition, which you guys had Joel and Sasha on the program, and they were talking about that. And that's one other thing I would really like to highlight about this is that, especially in places like Vancouver, where, like I say, we're a service industry, there's a lot of inherent kind of frustrations with that as a creative filmmaker. But what that comes with is a ton of resources. And, despite the fact that, like we were talking about, you can't just sort of walk onto a film set if you don't know how to deliver and this and that. Most people that work in film, they're pretty helpful. They want to help. They want to kind of pay it forward, and they want to see the next generation. And things like Crazy Eights, things like Run and Gun, all of these competitions that you can enter into that will help to give you some tools. There's educational components as well. But once you get to the point where you're greenlit, that gives you a get out of jail free card where you can say, I've never made a film, I don't know what I'm doing, right? But you can say, I'm making a Run and Gun on this weekend, will you come help me? And people go, oh, I know what Run and Gun is, right? Oh, you're making a Crazy Eights? I know what that is. You can go to the gear houses and say, listen, I'm doing a Crazy Eights. If I pay you in beer, can I take some stuff that's not being rented that weekend? All of those little things are really important too. And there's structures that are a lot more short form than committing to a full year-long program or a 4-year program. And that's also something on this film school side that's very valuable as well, but students forget about, is the moment that you go and say, hey, I'm a student, people will do things for you that they wouldn't normally do because they want to help you, because you're a student. Oh, I'm just, I need to learn. I need to be better. So that's the other thing of, like, you were talking about going and making movies with the other cohorts, or maybe outside of curriculum shooting some stuff. All of that stuff while you're a student, and you can play that student card and get into the cafe after they close, or, get into that bar before they open and use those locations for free because you're students. That's a really beneficial thing as well. So using all of those little elements while you're starting out, and not being afraid to ask for stuff, whether you're in film school or you're in one of these competitions or you're just doing a movie on a weekend. Ask. Every no that you get, it'll get you closer to a yes. And the people that say yes, they genuinely want to help. And you never know when one of them will become a lasting relationship. A lot of people show up to film school, arms crossed, going like, well, teach me. And it's like, no, you've got to ask not what your film school can do for you, right? Ask what you can do for your filmmaking career alone. And so that's the other thing, is put yourself out there, ask questions, don't be afraid of rejection. That kind of thing I said earlier, that bit of wisdom that I got of put yourself in the way of success. Nothing is more true than that. And, filmmaking is one of those careers that is a dream career. And so people will go out of their way to do things for filmmakers. I mean, maybe not as much in Vancouver, as some places have been burned, but you go back to your hometown and say, hey, I'm making a movie, and people will bend over backwards to help you do that. So whether you're choosing the film school route or not, just ask. That's the biggest thing. And if you're in film school, ask for more because you've paid for it. It's one of those things, That's the other thing that I was going to mention, is like, film school is a lot like making movies. It's a business, right? And so when in film, you're always trying to serve these two masters of the creative elements of the film and what's best for the film, and then these logistical concerns of what can we afford and how are we going to be able to make our investment back. And it's the exact same thing when you go to film school, whether you go to a private school like VFS or whether you go to a public school like UBC or SFU. It's an economy. People are making money, right? And so they've got that same dilemma where they've got their moral obligation to teach you the best curriculum that they can. But at the same time, you have to realize they're a business, right? They need to make money as well. And the sooner that you kind of realize that system, whether it's the film school system or ultimately making films, the better you're able to navigate and make creative decisions and ask for realistic things, and to try to make sure that you're getting, the most out of your investment, whether, again, it's film school or you're putting it into a film. You got to understand the full mechanics of how that world works. I think sometimes people show up to film school and the naivete is a little bit higher because they do think, hey, this is going to make me a filmmaker. And if there's one thing to take away is research your film schools diligently, go to the one that fits you best. And when you're there, ask for things and pick people's brains, do things outside of curriculum that, don't get you in trouble, but really milk it. Filmmaking is what you make of it, right? And you get out of it what you put into it. And it's never more true of this business than any other. You have to you have to be willing to do the extra bit. And those are the people that stand out, whether you're super talented or not. Those are the people that stand out. So